Welcome to the Clermont County Board of Commissioners meeting for June 11th. Can you imagine that? It's June 11th already. You know, it seems like the summer's starting to just fly by. Prior to starting our board meetings, we always welcome local pastors to lead us in prayer. This morning, Pastor Brandon Little is here this morning, and Pastor Little is with the Owensville United Methodist Church.
I am not. I've been with Landmark Church.
That's right, Landmark. That's right.
Today is my 25th anniversary of being their lead pastor.
I do.
Is that what it says? Well, maybe that's an omen. I don't know.
That's my fault.
Maybe I should check into that option.
How many years did you say?
Today's my 25th anniversary as lead pastor.
Well, congratulations.
33rd anniversary at the church. So,
And if you didn't know, he has always been the go-to person to actually align pastors within Clermont County and get word out to them when we need folks that volunteer and for other activities that are done throughout Clermont County. So, Brandon, we appreciate you doing that and always being, available for us.
absolutely. I appreciate the
By
opportunity.
all means, the podium is yours.
Thank you. All right. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, in James, your word says that if you need wisdom, then to ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. So therefore, I bow before you today, O King of Kings, asking that you grant wisdom to our county commissioners for their unrelenting work to serve and care for each member of our community. May they have a strong sense of affirmation and responsibility in that their authority ultimately comes from you through the vote of our residents. With the fullness of your Spirit, I ask you to fill them with hope, surround them with empathetic co-laborers, fill them with compassion, and fuel them with plenty of energy to answer their great calling. Grant them grace to face the unique challenges of their role, provide them insight into the needs of our community and discernment to make decisions to serve this great county well. Bless this session today, and may the decisions made be based in truth and be equally just for all concerned. Amen.
Amen. And now to officially start our meeting this morning, I understand that we have many members at the Senior Services Facility here in Clermont County, and that they are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you can hear me, by all means, go ahead.
To the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And Bill, do we have someone there that would like to talk to us from the platform?
I don't know if they were prepared to Mr. Banner.
Well, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Obviously, senior services is a great service here in Clermont County. It is something that you, the citizens, support, and we would ask that you continue to support that. They do a great job and they serve a lot of people. Thank you. We will go ahead with our regular agenda. We're at letter B. Letter B is approval of regular session minutes of 6/4/2025. Board, I know you've had these minutes early, had an opportunity to review them. Are there any revisions that need to be done?
None.
Okay, hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes of 6/4/2025.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Letter C are proclamations for today. We'll go ahead with the proclamation for designating June 11th as 2025 for Elder Abuse Awareness Day and Commissioner.
June 14th.
Oh, June 14th. I'm sorry.
No.
No, it's June
No,
11th.
it's
It's June 11th.
Mine's got the 14th.
Yep. June 11th is Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and Commissioner Batchelor will be presenting that proclamation for us.
For elder abuse.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Bill, you're gonna come up with me? Good to see you today. Thank you. It's always an honor to help anyone with senior service. This is a proclamation, and it reads as, Whereas older adults deserve to be treated with respect and dignity to enable them to serve as leaders, mentors, volunteers, and vital participating members of our community. And whereas in 2006, the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse in support of the United Nations International Plan of Action proclaimed a day to recognize the significance of elder abuse as a public health and human rights issue. And whereas the National Center on Elder Abuse, NCEA, and Clermont Senior Service recognizes the importance of acting to raise awareness, prevent, and address elder abuse. And whereas ageism and social isolation are major causes of elder abuse in the United States, and whereas preventing abuse of older adults through maintaining and improving social supports like senior services, human services, and transportation will allow everyone to continue to live as independently as possible and contribute to the life and vibrancy of our communities. And whereas where there is justice, there can be no abuse. Therefore, we urge all people to restore justice by honoring older adults and putting an end to abuse. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed that we, the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim June the 11th, 2025, as Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Clermont County. And it is signed by David Painter, President of the Board, myself, Bonnie Batchelor, Vice President, and Claire Corcoran as a member. And Bill, it's an honor to have you here. And it's always been an honor to serve Clermont County's Board of Senior Services, many years on the Housing Board.
Yep.
I was honored to do that.
Yeah. We
So
appreciate that.
we will give you the opportunity to speak if you would like.
Yeah, thank you. If I could, real quick, I'd just like to introduce a few of our vital players at the office. We've got Emily Shack, our Supportive Services Director, Laura Newberry, our Adult Protective Services Manager, Marla Catron, an APS investigator, and Debbie Hines, APS investigator. Debbie also facilitates our I-team. It's an interdisciplinary team made up of various professionals from various entities throughout the county, bringing about awareness for elder abuse and spreading that word. So doing great work. But we really do, I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners for the proclamation and the opportunity to bring about awareness for elder abuse. It's certainly, unfortunately, an issue that isn't going away. Last year, our agency received over 560 referrals of some form of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. So, it's not always I know when we think about elder abuse, we think about the physicality of it, seeing the signs of abuse, but it's not always that. It can be verbal abuse, it can be financial exploitation, and with technology the way it's going these days, exploitation through the internet is on the rise tremendously. But our agency every day, that's what we do, is look out for our older adult community here in Clermont County. Our Adult Protective Services team does a phenomenal job of going out and investigating those referrals and finding the least restrictive resolutions to ensure that older adult is living safely in the community and not being abused. So again, thank you for the opportunity just to spread that awareness on this platform. We greatly appreciate that and appreciate the support from the commissioners and our community. Love it. Yeah, thank you.
So David's going to want a picture.
I figured. Come on, ladies.
And then you two on this side.
Oh, that is a proclamation. I like this group. I'm like, besides Commissioner Painter, I'm like the tallest one here. Never happened.
Always remember, dynamite comes in small packages.
Right. Look right here, and we'll go with 3, 2, 1, and one more 3, 2, 1.
We're talking.
One more.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, ready? No flashes. All right, go in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We have another proclamation for Flag Day for June 14th, and it's going to be accepted by Ursula Miller. Ursula?
You went out of order. That's why I thought the date was wrong.
Proclamation, Flag Day, June 14th, 2025. National Flag Week, June 8th through the 14th. Whereas since its Second Continental Congress adopted its design more than 200 years ago, the Stars and Stripes have been a powerful symbol of freedom, hope, and opportunity. We fly Old Glory from government buildings, schools, city halls, police and fire stations, stores, offices, and our front porches. Whenever Americans are gathered, sporting events, places of worship, parades, and rallies, our flag waves proudly, representing the enduring spirit of our country. Whereas on June 14th, 1777, the Continental Congress passed a resolution defining the colors, configuration, and symbolism of the Stars and Stripes, which is known as the American flag. The American flag helps us to never forget the bravery of the men and women in uniform who defend it. When we look at the red, white, and blue, we are reminded of the blood spilled across generations to safeguard liberty. We are filled with pride and patriotism and reminded of our fight for freedom. And on May 30th, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson issued a proclamation deeming June 14th as Flag Day. On this day and the week to follow, let us recommit ourselves to the principles upon which our country was founded. With grateful hearts, let us reflect upon the price of freedom and the brave souls who've given their lives to preserve it. As we raise the flag, we stand and salute our place, our hands over our heart. Let us renew our sacred pledge, and we will forever remain one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that we, the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, do hereby declare June 8th through 14th, 2025 as National Flag Week in Clermont County, and encourage all citizens of our county to proudly display the American flag and observe it with pride on all the days from Flag Day through Independence Day as a time to honor America. And this proclamation is signed by myself, Commissioner Batchelor, and Commissioner Claire Corcoran. Ursula, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, I'd like to present this proclamation to you for Flag Day. And I want to say for all the citizens who are here today or who are listening this morning, there is a Flag Day celebration at Clermont County Airport Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And it is being hosted by Sporty's Pilot Shop here in Clermont County. If you are so inclined to come out and to represent our flag, they have food available for you, and there will be lots of conversation and people that will be attending that. So please come out and support the American flag. Ursula, on behalf of the commissioners, I present you this proclamation for Flag Week. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Painter. It is an honor to accept this proclamation on behalf of the county. This is one of my favorite times of the year, to be a little corny, but very patriotic. We have Flag Day, and then a few days after that, we have Juneteenth, and then July 4th. And what a great combination of events. And this year, we have Father's Day on the same weekend. And there's really very little that's more patriotic than celebrating and shouting out to our fathers and for all they've done for our country and do for us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'd love to have a picture.
Here we go again.
You know, I was at UDF getting coffee and somebody pointed that out.
just for the record, there was a shout out there for moms too.
Mr. Moms, Mr. Moms. Oh.
It's okay.
Why did you take my photo?
Mr. Moms.
Yell at me later. All right, look right here. Forget what I said, and smile. And one more.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
You already did.
I know.
It's our day every day, David.
Next up is letter D. It's a presentation. Josh Torbeck, Director, Clermont County Park District, easement for 4475 State Route 222. Josh, glad you're here this morning.
Commissioners, thank you for having me. This might be the shortest presentation I've ever given. Everybody's welcome. So if you're not familiar, our maintenance shop where all of our operations comes out of is on 222 down the street from the new engineers compound. If you're not familiar with that, let me get back here. If you're not familiar with 222 at that section, there's a really sharp bend right there that leads to our shop. If we stop to take a left in there and there's oncoming traffic, very often cars are slamming on the brakes to avoid hitting us. If we're taking a left or right out of there for the trailer, again, cars are slamming on the brakes to avoid hitting us. So what I came here today is to ask the commissioners to consider allowing an easement connecting our shop to the engineer's office. And with that easement, we would create a drive. There's already kind of an easement that's been cut for the sewer. So hopefully piggybacking on that sewer easement and then creating a drive so we can have one point of entry and exit in and out of the engineer's compound instead of using the park drive that we currently use. And then we'd close off that entrance so there'd be no confusion of traffic coming in and out. That's the gist of my presentation. Any questions, concerns I can answer?
Josh, the only question of that
Yes.
would be is what is the condition of this road? Is this going to be an asphalt paved road so that it is conducive of the rest of the complex?
Well, we would hope that it's paved, but with, asking for an easement, we would be beholden to whatever the commissioners of the county would ask of us. But we would be, it would be in our best interest to have it paved.
Okay.
And there'd be no interference with the engineers in and out.
We'd have to work with the engineer's office to make sure that everything we're doing complies with what their needs and wants. So we'd be at the mercy of the county and the engineers, making sure that we're fulfilling every need or requirement that they'd ask of us.
Okay.
And also would come at our cost. We would be responsible for paying for that.
Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In addition to that presentation, Jeff Blom is here today from our Clermont County Convention Visitors Bureau, and he's here to talk to us about East Fork Lake Cabins. So before someone asks, currently there are no cabins at East Fork.
That's correct.
Okay.
And since Josh was so short, that means I get to go a lot longer. Just kidding. Yeah, you might get the timer out, but it's all good. I'll just give you a little bit of background. As commissioners, again, thank you for the opportunity to present this morning. Back in 2021, the Clermont County Economic Development, Clermont Chamber of Commerce, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau all formed just kind of a partnership group to look at bringing a lodge and a conference center to East Fork State Park. So we partnered together and paid for a study through CHM Government Services, who did perform a feasibility study on a lodge and conference center at East Fork State Park. However, that study, when it did came back negative, that the occupancy at the lodge would be less than 50%. We're looking at around 48% or so, which really is not conducive to building a new construction for a state park lodge. So we shared that with the commissioners. We also shared that with Ohio Department of Natural Resources. So then one of the things that was brought up by actually East Fork Park Management was that large reunion cabins, have been successful at other parks, not only state parks, but national parks. And some of you may have even rented these type of cabins, either at Hocking Hills State Park, in that area around Hocking Hills, or maybe down in the Smoky Mountains. There's hundreds and hundreds of cabins there in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg and the surrounding areas. So these are really, really nice cabins. And so we pivoted on the study, and we added that to the feasibility study to have CHM take a look at cabins. And so that study actually came back positive. And this is the study, and I've given each of the commissioners and Mr. Eigel a copy of that study to review. I won't get into all the details because we would probably be here for 2 hours going over everything. But the occupancy on those cabins came back at over 60%, which is kind of that threshold that you want to see in order to say the positive study that they would recommend building a minimum of 3 cabins. And these are large reunion cabins with 6 bedrooms. And I'll just kind of skip ahead to what those cabins look like. Some of these are comparable. Again, I mentioned Hocking Hills and some of the other state parks. So these are beautiful cabins. The costs are a little over $800,000 on each of those. So they are very sturdy, well constructed. They're gonna stand the test of time as far as abuse of people coming in and out, as far as visitors staying and guests staying on a regular basis. And they would all be fully furnished, and that total cost for the cabins would be about $2.9 million or more, with all of the utilities as far as being added to the cabins, all the kitchen appliances and whatnot that goes into the cabins, furnished with couches, sofas, TVs, etc. There are 3 sites that we really narrowed it down to, and one thing that I did learn is that the elevation level in the park, nothing can be constructed lower than 795 feet above sea level at East Fork State Park. So that really limits where you can build in the park. In the plans in the 70s, there was an original site for a lodge on the Williamsburg side, closer to the lake on the right-hand side, which I kind of refer to as the campground lake. But that's really where a lot of the horse trails are. We are looking at 3 sites. The top one, you see the blue dots are looking at each site. The top one is actually state-owned property, and that's at the entrance to the campgrounds. The bottom 2 are at the south side of the park. One actually below the beach area, which has the star located there on the map, is actually at the top of the hill. There was an existing parking lot there at one time, but if you are driving towards the beach at the top of the hill on the right-hand side, it's really a meadow now. But that's really the site where they recommended building, and that's the number 1 site. And then the other site is a little bit further to the east, and that's the Williamsburg Bantam site. And that would require a more expensive amount of infrastructure. After we did this study, and this study was completed at the end of 2023. However, when we were trying to set up a meeting with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Director Mary Mertz had some health issues. She was out much of the year. So we were finally able to meet with her at the beginning of May, and we talked about the study. We went over the study with her and her team in Columbus. And what came back was they were not really interested in building new construction, either of lodges or cabins at state parks. However, we did ask, if they were open to a private developer coming in to build cabins. They did decide that they are open to that. However, the infrastructure becomes the next question, and the infrastructure is at the bottom of this slide. It's the site development costs. And each site is a little bit different. And again, this was over a year ago. So again, inflation costs, that type of thing, you have to take into consideration. But the costs range from 2.7 million to over 4.4 million, depending on the site. The main beach site was the least expensive, and it's closest to the existing roadway. And you can also tie into a few of the utilities that already exist in the south side of the park. Now, obviously, the campgrounds are on the north side, so operationally, this is a question that would have to be answered by the park system and also the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which owns the land on most of the park, but all of the south side of the park. So that the utilities would have to be put in as far as roadway, water, sewer, gas, electric, internet, all of that. And so Ohio Department of Natural Resources is not interested in constructing any of that. So, there was lots of businesses, organizations, the county, residents were interested in a lodge at Clermont. They're also interested in cabins at Clermont County. So if we are to go through a process of putting an RFP process together, a request for proposals from private developers, the infrastructure would have to be built out in order to attract any private developer. So that is my ask of the commissioners today, is to study CHM's cabin feasibility study. I am happy to set up a meeting via Zoom with CHM to discuss the study, answer any questions that you may have. If we need to set up a time to meet with Ohio Department of Natural Resources as part of this process, happy to coordinate that as well. But the ask would be, if Clermont County wants cabins to be built at East Fork, as well as an event pavilion to support those cabins for weddings, family reunions, different events, mountain bike races, triathlons, those types of things that would also use the cabins and the event pavilion, then we really need to decide as a county, is Clermont County interested in paying for that infrastructure? How would it get paid for? Are the county commissioners interested in obtaining funding to help support this project? If the answer is yes, then we continue down that path of moving forward and putting out an RFP for private developers, get updated infrastructure costs, start negotiating with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on the property, whether that's most likely leased to a private developer or maybe sold to that private developer. And again, look at those private developer bids, and then how that relationship and partnership would work with the state and also with Clermont County. So we're still in this process, so there are more steps to take and more questions that need to be answered. So I would like to have you take a look at this study, and then we can set up a couple meetings to review this, help with all the information you need in order to make the decisions.
And Jeff, even with the rowing competition that we have there every year, what a benefit that would be for that.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, it would attract more events and also more regattas. And we have some Olympians that are training out there right now this summer, and with the hope of making the 2028 Olympic team in coastal rowing. Chris Back is actually from Pierce Township, and he is one of the leading Olympic hopefuls in coastal rowing. I know it sounds kind of funny because we're not on the coast, but essentially it's beach rowing, and the athlete will row a course. They actually pull up on the beach, they get out of their boat, and then they sprint to the finish line. So it's kind of a new sport that's been added to the Olympics. But it's one that we actually have an Olympic hopeful, but they're training, he and a few other athletes are training this summer out at East Fork. And some of the athletes are from out of town. So having a cabin there could be a long-term stay for that entire group. And it could also lead to other events like that.
Myself, Jeff, I think it would be great to meet with CHM to hear what their path forward would be on that.
Okay.
To gain some information. And I would say it would be really conducive if we could meet in person. Are they Columbus? Where are they based?
He is based in Massachusetts.
Well, that's a little far to travel.
So, but we can make travel arrangements if we needed to. Otherwise, we can set up a virtual call.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I was in favor of the lodge, so definitely I'm in favor of this.
Well, I think, certainly residents would be very excited about this in our own backyard, but from the tourism and visitor perspective, there are a lot of people that enjoy, going to cabins. A lot of people have family reunions every year, and they look for a different destination to host a family reunion. This would open ourselves up to be more of a destination for that. Also, destination weddings, where the event pavilion would be a nice outdoor pavilion where you can host a nice size wedding, use it as a wedding venue. And then for our events, for registrations and award banquets and those types of things. So really, we get a lot of use, and the study came back in favor of that. So now it's a question of, we know the state's not interested in it. So now we have to navigate that path of a private developer and working through that process.
Okay.
and answering those questions.
Well, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We would move to letter E. Letter E is public participation. Does anyone here like to participate from the public today? We have a person. Well, we've reached the public participation section of our agenda. During this time, the board doesn't answer questions or engage in debate. No member of the public may comment about a matter that's not within the purview of the commissioner's responsibilities. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time. Each speaker will be recognized by the board president prior to speaking. And in accordance with the board's rules, you will have 5 minutes. Tell us who you are and your address.
Name is Jen Mazzucchelli, Mazzuckelli, and I'm in Union Township. And for Commissioner Painter and Batchelor and Corcoran, I'm sure you all missed me, so I thought I'd come here and grace you with my presence.
We missed you.
Glad you're
In a
here.
minute. I've been under the weather, but contrary to other times, I'm not here to bring up concerns or anything like that. First, I want to give a shameless mom plug to all the high school graduates. My daughter graduated this year. She was salutatorian. She did a great job, so I'm bragging on her namelessly because then she'll get embarrassed and kill me in my sleep. But I'm here today because you mentioned Flag Day and the people who died to protect our freedoms. And there were lots of different ways. There have been lots of different ways over the course of history where we have defended our freedoms, coming from the Tea Party. My family's teachers. I was brought up to believe that teaching is a great way to ensure our freedom and our democracy. And on the 14th, nationwide, there are going to be, maybe you've heard of them, but there's going to be a bunch of different they're independent. It's not paid or anything like that. Demonstrations in every state. And I've been asked to host one here in Clermont County. So I'm doing it a little bit differently because over the course of the past year or two, it's come to my attention that we don't get along. Like there's 2 groups of people in this county and we don't usually talk to each other and get along. So I'm just using this rally on the 14th as an opportunity to for us all to come together as a community and just talk about what we expect from government, just have civic dialogue and try to rebuild the community town square, the civic town square that we used to have. And I invite you, 3, each of you or all of you or whatever, to come and speak and or just attend, talk about, civic engagement, what it looks like, what the community needs to be healthy in that regard. I want to be clear that I am not hosting a partisan rally. I'm hosting something just for everybody to kind of reaffirm. They call it a No Kings rally, but just reaffirm a foundation principle that in this country, we don't have kings and that the power resides in the people. So in order for that to happen, we need to have healthy civic dialogue and healthy communities. And that's where I'm coming from. So I just come to invite you to come speak. You'll have to do it through a megaphone. No, but to come speak or just to poke around and see what happens. I'm having increasing number of signups, and I just wanted to put that out there. There's a lot of different activities, and I think it'll be a good day. So thank
And
you.
where is this, Jan?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the important parts, isn't it? It'll be at Veterans Park in the reservation or whatever, C, so right by the helicopter, from 12:30 to 4. And I'm hoping that I'm just kind of winging it, to be quite honest, but my intention is to have like hot dogs and conversation and kind of like a potluck where everybody brings something and just civic dialogue, because we need to start talking to each other, even if we disagree. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to participate during public participation? Seeing none, we'll close public participation and we will move to letter F. Letter F is consent agenda. Board, you've had a consent agenda prepared, had an opportunity to review it. Are there any issues that need to be brought off the consent agenda for further discussion?
Not for me.
Hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes, we will move on to G, which is the non-consent agenda.
6.
It is 6, isn't it? Yes, page 6. Consent agenda starts with item number 15. It's a recommendation that the Board of Commissioners adopt resolution number 063-25 to approve payment to vendors at a total amount of $4,516,600.60 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated June 11th, 2025, BCC directed prepaid invoice report, and the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on 6/9/2025, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants pursuant to and in compliance with 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number 16.
I think it's Nathan.
That's Nathan.
You're on.
Nathan, tell everybody who you are and where you work.
Hey, my name is Nathan Schuler, and I work at the Clermont County Common Police Court.
Thanks for being here.
All right. And then I just read this.
Yes.
All right. This is the Clermont County Courts of Common Pleas, Clermont County Municipal Court, Clermont County Common Pleas Clerk of Courts, and Clermont County Municipal Court Clerk contract for professional services for the case management system. Recommendation to execute a contract for professional services for the Clermont County Courts of Common Pleas. Clermont, I don't do this very often, so Clermont, Clermont County Municipal Court, Clermont County Common Pleas Clerk of Courts, and the Clermont County Municipal Court Clerk between the Board of Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and David J. Wooderman, 1185 Lake Trail Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45233, for the required project manager services for the Clermont County Courts and clerks' offices for the case management system at an amount not to exceed $80,000 and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Nathan, you did a fine job.
All right, thank you.
Didn't hurt, did it, Nathan?
Item number 17.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
I have a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, or in his absence, any other member of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the Ohio Department of Youth Services Juvenile Court Grant Agreement and Funding Application between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners and the Ohio Department of Youth Services for and on behalf of the Clermont County Juvenile Court for the Reclaim Ohio Grant Subsidy Program in the amount of $886,374.79, and the Youth Services Grant Subsidy Program in the amount of $283,623, and the continuing funding for competitive reclaim allocations for the fiscal year of 2026 for the biennial period commencing July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2027, and in compliance with the terms and conditions. This grant agreement is for a 2-year period for the programming part of it. The budget part of it is just for 1 year. That's why it's so confusing, all the dates. It's a 2-year funding agreement.
Understood. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you. You bet. Item number 18. Morning, Jessica.
Administrator Clermont. I am here for a recommendation to adopt resolution number 64-25, resolving to amend resolution number 154-24, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners December 18th, 2024, for the necessity to purchase or lease of motor vehicles for the use of county commissioners, any county department, board, commission, office, agency, any elected county official, or any county elected official's employees at a revised estimated price of $3,531,493 from funds appropriated for calendar year 2025 pursuant to section 307.41 of the Ohio Revised Code, and in compliance with sections 307.86 through 307.92 of the Ohio Revised Code. So this is for us to purchase the DJFS leased vehicles that we had previously. So
Okay. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thanks, Jessica. Item number 19. Connie, thanks for being here this morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you all. Item number 19 is the recommendation to execute Amendment Number 2 to the subgrant agreement for career services between the Workforce Development Board of Butler, Clermont, Warren, the BCW Workforce, the Area 12 Chief Elected Officials Consortium, and the Board of County Commissioners, Clermont County, Ohio, the subgrantee, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on July 26th of 2023, relative to the provision of Title I career services under an award of Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funds, as well as other discretionary federal and state grants as awarded to adults, dislocated workers, and youth in local Area 12. With said Amendment Number 2 to 1, extend the effective date of the sub-grant agreement for an additional 12-month period to be effective through June 30th of 2026, and 2, to increase the total amount not to exceed from $838,236 to $1,256,772, which represents an increase of $418,536, with all other terms and conditions of the original subgrant agreement and amendment to remain in full force and effect.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 19. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second. Any further conversation?
No.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Abstain to sit on the board.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 20. Morning, Lyle.
I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with the Clermont County Water Resources Department. Item 20 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for bids for the repair and rebuild of a mechanical bar screen for the Clermont County Water Resources Department pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, July 10th, 2025 at 10 a.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Here in the Office of Board of County Commissioners, they will be publicly open and read aloud, and the notice will also be posted on the county's website. So this is the bar screen at the Lower East Fork Wastewater Treatment Plant, which is currently inoperable. So the contractor will remove it, take it back to their shop, rebuild it, and then return it and reinstall. The estimate for the work is $197,768.
Thank you, Lyle. You've heard the reading of item number 20. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
A second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item 21.
Item 21 is a recommendation to accept the contract between Clermont County and Smith and Brown Contractors Incorporated out of Harrison, Ohio. And this is for the Greenbrier Lift Station Improvements Project located in Batavia Township, as complete as of December 30th, 2024. And to approve the application for payment number 7, which is the final and represents a progress payment in the amount of $3,334.70 and the release of retainage in the principal amount of $53,589.80 plus all accrued interest earned, payable in separate checks as outlined in the motion.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 21. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item 22.
Item 22 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 065-25, resolving that personal property owned by the Board of County Commissioners, as identified in the Exhibit A, is unfit for the use for which it was acquired due to department restructuring and no longer necessary for county use, and now determines that the property should be donated pursuant to and in compliance with Section 307.12D of the Ohio Revised Code to the Clermont County Soil and Water Conservation District, a political subdivision of the state of Ohio, and further to authorize the Board of County Commissioners to delete those items from their inventory and to transfer the reference property to the responsibility of the receiving agency. So this is equipment used for stream monitoring that the Office of Environmental Quality previously used, and Soil and Water Conservation District is going to pick up those tasks and use this equipment.
Good.
Okay. Board, you've heard the reading on number 22. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
And it's been moved and second. Further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item 23. Thanks, Lyle. Chris, morning.
Good morning, Board.
Chris.
Item 23 is a recommendation to reappoint Loretta Roque to serve on the Board of Directors of the Clermont County Port Authority. Her term expires at the end of August, and she has agreed to re-up for another 4 years.
Board, you've heard the reading on item number 23. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? By all means, thanks, Loretta, for her dedication, Chris, to the Port Authority. She's done an excellent job. You know, great person to have as chair.
Thank you.
We're glad she's there. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 24.
Item number 24 is a recommendation to approve the following request for reimbursement of expenses for training and travel according to the policies and procedures of the Board of County Commissioners in compliance with annual appropriations for calendar year 2025 and any amendments. Bonnie Batchelor, 4 days, Logan, Ohio, for the County Commissioners Association of Ohio Summer Symposium, estimated amount not to exceed $1,322.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 24. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
And I'll second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Same.
That concludes our non-consent agenda. Do we have any additions at this time, Tom?
No, sir.
All right, then I will move on to letter I, requesting an executive session in accordance with section 121.22 G1 and 121.22 G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment, discipline, promotion, or compensation of a public employee or more public employees, and to confer with the attorney for the board concerning disputes involving a public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we will move to executive session. We will return and conduct further business. Thank you. We have returned from executive session. There were no decisions made and no actions taken. We'll move on with our regular agenda. Tom, are there any additions to the agenda we need to cover?
Sir.
Hearing none, I'll move to letter J, county staff and elected official discussions. Any staff or elected official discussions today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will move to K, which is member comments, board member comments. Any comments about our meeting today or any issues you wanted to bring out? One we probably at least need to mention is the fact that, we currently have the Senate and the House in a conference committee trying to agree to what the budgetary items of the state are going to look like. Some of the things that are definitely up there for an impact are the inside millage is being considered. And so, as we all know, there's been a lot of conversations sent out to all of the different counties about what that means to us. And to us, that means just a little bit shy of $19 million, I believe, if, inside millage were curtailed. So we are concerned about that as far as it comes from the House and the Senate, and how they finally work that out. We hope they work that out to where it's amenable to, all counties and not only counties, but cities and villages and townships. But however, if that were not to happen, there would be some discussion about sales tax and about the need for that as far as a revenue replacement. That is not something that commissioners in the state of Ohio want to do. Would definitely not in the swing zone. So by all means, contact your representatives and your senators and let them know that the services that are needed at counties obviously have to come with some funding mechanism. It always has been inside millage, and that needs to continue. On the other side of that, there is a movement about this state to do away with property tax. And so there are signatory provisions of that, but that is moving down the road like a locomotive. So just wanted to mention that if taxes aren't on your peripheral, they need to be, and possibly they need to be in the crosshairs and line of sight. So
And with that, the general information for people, if they want to do their own research and understand what Commissioner Painter's talking about, is House Bill 335, which we had a conference call the other day with everyone on. But if you really want to get into the details of it, that's where you could find it if you want to do your own research.
you got many conversations have been had about 335 and what that's going to look like after a conference committee.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. Anything else? With that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Then moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes, thank you for being with us today on this beautiful day on June 11th. We're glad that you attended, and we will see you next week. Thank you.